Welcome back to an exciting video, and what we're doing today is we are continuing work on the Randy Rhoads Flying V. So, as you may or may not have noticed, I've been gone for a little bit. I had COVID again. You can hear it in my voice. Sorry about that. Fourth time, got it at a show. Me and my bass player got it at the last venue we were at. And since I had Delta, when I had Delta just rocked my freaking world. I mean, it rocked my world. It rocked it so hard, I called my sister, I think it was on a Monday night, and I said, you might want to call me in the morning. I might be dead. That's how sick I got with Delta. And finally got over it. About 15 days I had that, but I had the congestion for probably 3 months afterwards. I mean, I just could not get rid of the congestion. And apparently that's a thing with getting that, is you get tremendously bad congestion. So some time went on, got past that, and then I got Omicron. And Omicron just gave me an incredibly bad sore throat for about 7 days. It was like having a really, really bad cold, but I got the congestion again. And I didn't get congestion. I got the congestion. So, and it took about a month after I got past Omicron to get rid of the congestion. When I get really congested, I lose my voice. So I got this other variant, whatever the hell it is. I call it the midterm variant. And sure enough, man, I got it. And first thing to go is my voice. And I guess my voice was down for about 8 days and slowly starting to come back. But you can still hear it in my voice. So that's where I have been. And just kind of wondering how many times the human body can take COVID before it just shits out on you. Because I'm number 4 now. Number 4. I am going for the record of COVID. And you know what? Still here. Still here, buddy. And all right, enough of that garbage. So we are continuing on with the Randy Rhoads Flying V, as you can see right here, my Randy Rhoads. And everything kind of halted on a little bit because my band just got stupid busy in the last show we had. That's where I got COVID. And so we're taking this entire month off to learn new music, so on and so on and so on. I don't think we're playing again to the 3rd, which is fantastic for me. And but we're learning some new music, and believe it or not, and you all can beat me up on this now because, as you know, if you've watched my channel, I am a metal guy. And one of the songs that we're gonna play is "Enter Sandman" by Metallica, and I do not know it at all. Yes, how does a metal guy not know how to play "Enter Sandman" Metallica? Well, I got to be honest. I like Metallica, but it's I never wanted to do any type of music of Metallica's to cover with, and so we're going to do some covers here, and we're going to pick out the "Enter Sandman." So I've got to learn how to play that, believe it or not, because I've never really messed with it. And I just don't, and here we go. Everything prior to the Black Album, amazing. The Black Album, but everything after the Black Album, just not a fan. Just not a fan. And so I just kind of turned off completely on Metallica. So I got to learn how to play that. Sure, it's not that complicated. I'm sure it's not that hard, but still, I just think it's funny that I'm a metal guy and I do not know how to play Enter Sandman. So moving on. So what we're going to do today, because like I said, everything just kind of hit a standstill while I got over the Rona again. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to adjust the neck, and we're going to adjust the pickups in it, because I got the pickups installed, but I haven't really done anything with it. And then we're going to do a sound test to start to see how this dude sounds. And then after I get done with all that, then I'm going to order the new trim system, and we're going to drop the new trim low into it. And I may go ahead and change the pots at that point. I am not sure yet. It just depends on how things unfold. But let's get started. And we're going to start here. We're going to jump off, and we're going to adjust this trim. So I've got a little bit of a bow in my neck. So I'm going to bring the bow down. Now, something this guitar does have, which I'm finding more and more common on sub $2,000 guitars, is, now granted, this is one of the Chinese knockoffs. This is, so, you buy it and whatever you get, you deal with it. But even on the Ibanez's, I've been noticing that the nut is too tall. They're not cutting into the neck deep enough. So I've got a bit of play right here. That's a little higher than what I like. So we're going to go ahead and just adjust this neck to bring the action down in it, because the action is like crazy high right now. But at one point, I'm going to have to pull this off, grind this down, shim it back up like I did on my Ibanez to reset this. Because it doesn't matter how much you tweak on this, if this is too high, it's never going to be set up correctly. Now, I'm going to be able to get it set up pretty good, and it's going to be playable, but it's never going to be 100% correct until I take care of this. And that's going to be a little ways down the road, because here in about 2 months, I'm moving. I'm out of here. And so there's going to be a whole new podcast room, a whole new everything that is being set up as we speak. It is going down. So very excited about that. Going to be very cool. And I'm going to complete my podcast room out with, my other desk for co-host, stuff like that. So going to be very, very cool. So on that note, let's break this plate off right here and get started. All right, so we've got our little precision screwdriver toolkit here. Dude, I have had this thing for like 9 billion years. And I have screwed a lot of things with this. And I've screwed up a lot of things with this. So one thing you may or I may have told you this in a previous video. When I had Delta trashed my eyesight. And so my close-up vision just is terrible now. And I was sitting in a bar, story time while we do this. And I was sitting in a bar, and I was talking to this guy. And I told him, I said, man, we were talking about Delta. And I said, yeah, dude. I said, it killed my eyesight. And the guy's like, bullshit. Delta doesn't mess with your eyes. And the guy sitting next to us at the bar, he said, the hell it doesn't. He said, I got Delta. And he said, and it destroyed my eyesight. I said, see, I told you, man. So apparently there is a thing called COVID brain where you just can't think anymore, I guess, after you get COVID. But there's also COVID eyesight, because it kills your COVID. So after squinting, my girlfriend finally drug my ass down and got me glasses so I can see. So this is what the glasses look like. So I can actually see now. So she got me a couple pairs of them, because if I didn't get them, she's pretty much going to beat me to death at that point. And she was probably tired of me taking her glasses off her face all the time so I could read menus and things. So, yeah. Now, granted, I am an old crusty dude, but this is not an old dude thing. This is a Delta thing. So you're probably going to see me more and more wearing my glasses, my old man glasses. So like I said, this has got a bow in it. It's got too much relief. So we're going to pull some of the relief out of this dude and get this thing where we want it to be. Bada bing, bada bing, bada boom, bada boom. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in. Now, the way I'm sitting with the guitar, this is the bottom of the guitar here. So I'm going to be pushing this away from me to get this where I need it. And when you're doing this with a locking bridge, also with a locking trim, these strings, you don't have, the strings are extremely tight. So you got to be careful when you're cranking this. These can take quite a bit of pressure, but if you push that string too far, it's going to break up here at the top. It will not break here, of course, because it's locked in. So you got to be kind of careful doing this. So let's get this seated. And what we're going to do is we're going to make small turns. We're going to do like 1/8-inch turns. Now this has got a bit of bow in it. So I'm going to do two eighth inch pushes right here. See, now I've got it kind of set at a weird angle. Get in there. There it is. All right, let's see what we got here. Going to take it down just a hair more. Now, this is a fill thing. This isn't really, let me scoot this over a little bit. This isn't really, there's, measure this out and all that. This is a fill thing. And what happens is, as you become a better player. And as you keep working and setting up on your guitars, which I've said, I mentioned actually I did not. I'm sorry. It was a guy we were going back and forth about his guitar. And I was telling him, I said, dude, just set it up yourself because there's really nothing you can break on the guitar. And, I mean, if you get the truss rod and you just crank, yes, you can break a truss rod. Then you got a problem. But if you do it with a little bit of smarts, you'll get to a point where you start to understand how to set it up. And then you'll start to understand what you like. Because I'm going to tell you now, I don't care what guitar I buy. If I went off down to the guitar store and I bought a $5,000 PRS, I would have to do a setup on it. Not because it would be set up bad. It's because it won't be set up how I like the guitar. Because, hell, they don't know how I like a guitar. So I have a very specific way that I like a guitar set up. So, and unfortunately, and I've mentioned this before, is that I have never had a PRS. I've never played one that I really liked. And that sucks because I really, really would love to have a PRS, but I've never played one. That's just, I've never played one. I've just been like, oh my God, I got to have this guitar, and it's, all right, that's pretty good. I'm checking to see if it frets out. Okay, there's a little bit of buzz right here at the 5th fret. Okay, so I got some buzz here at the 5th fret. So chances are I've got a fret that is not level. Because I don't have buzz here. I have no buzz here. Right here. So I got butt fret. I got fret buzz, butt fret. I got butt fret right here at 4, 5, and 6. So that means one of these frets here is either too high or too low. But that is not what we're doing here today. And that's an easy fix. I just got to find out which one it is. Hopefully it's a fret that's too high. And then I just got to get a fret tool and take it down a little bit. So that's a pretty easy fix. So we've got that set pretty good where we want it there. So let's go ahead and slam this plate back on. And like I said, after I get the trim system and all that, I'm going to have to do all this stuff again anyway, more than likely. But right now, we're just trying to get it playable so I can take this thing to shows until I finish getting all the pieces and parts that I need for it. So we're going to stick this plate back on. Now, one thing I do really like about the Ibanez's, they have the little door there. There's no screws. It's got a little door. And you just kind of put your fingernail in it, and you pop it, and the door swings to the side. I like that. Very cool. And, of course, on the EVHs, the other guitars that I play, is they're exposed down here. And I got to be honest, I actually like that better. That's a good setup. This is just shoddy as hell here. This just doesn't look good. Sorry about that. See, when I'm all congested, I lose my super sexy radio voice that I normally have. Now I got this gravelly blah, blah, blah voice. All right, so now we've got that in there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move the iPad. This is what controls my camera, by the way, because I use Blackmagic Cinema cameras for this. So let's get that. Yo, I'm not going to say it. Get out the way. So let's throw this. This is actually a green screen that I use. Because as you all may or may not know, I do have a video production company, which, by the way, I'm actually working on setting up my new website right now. It's going to be seriously cool. And I do mean seriously cool. The only problem is I don't know shit about WordPress. I do know how to code. I used to actually do that. I used to make websites. And I hand-coded all my websites that I made. back in the day. And that's when HTML5 and CSS3 first came out. And it was seriously cool. I enjoyed doing it, but it just, God, it took so much time. And then people started farming that crap out across the seas, and it just wasn't worth the money anymore. Because a website that I would build for $2,000, they were building for $500, and I'm not doing that. I'm out. So I jumped out. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm off to the side of the camera, but the pickups here, you can't tell, of course, are sitting way too far down into the body. I installed the pickups, but I did not adjust them. So right now, if we played it, and I played it up against my other guitars, if I'm in a show, the volume on this guitar would drop off substantially, because the pickups are just too far away from the strings, because obviously that's where you get your sound from. So we're going to raise the pickups up into the strings. Now, there are measurements per se that a lot of people will say it needs to be X amount from the strings. Personally, again, it's kind of like a neck thing for me. It's a feel thing, and it's a sound thing. And as you do this more and more and more, you're going to find exactly how you want everything to be set up on your guitars. And you're just going to be able to feel it. And you're also going to be able to tell from the tone. Now, normally what you'll want to do is you will set your pickups. You'll set the high E side a little closer to the strings than the low E side. The low E side puts off a lot more volume. The string's much thicker, and the string has a much bigger vibration pattern. And what I mean by that, I've talked about that before. But if this is your string, when you pluck a string, it doesn't do this or this. It does this. When you hit a string, it vibrates in a circle. And the low E, because the string is so thick, especially on bass strings, it may vibrate if the string's this big. And granted, this is not 2 scale, but it will vibrate like this, because this string will have a tremendous amount of room, to where the high E is much smaller. It's probably going to vibrate, well, it's not probably, it'll vibrate in a much smaller circle than this will. So, and since it doesn't put out as much vibration, as much sound, you slant the pickups a little towards the high E, but I mean it is minimal. You can see it when you look down. You can see the pickup is slightly, and I mean slightly, lifted up on the high E side. And I do mean ever so slightly. If you crank it up too much, you're going to have a huge volume variation between here and here. So you have to balance that out. And that's what all this is. Setting up a guitar it's a balancing act. You can look all day long and you will find 10,000 measurements on everything you need to do to measure a guitar. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to what you feel. And how I got started doing all this is when I started buying the Wolfgangs, they came with a book, and they have on an EVH Wolfgang, when you buy it, providing, weather hasn't completely jacked the neck and shipping and all that, it comes at the 12th fret at 3/64. That's the action. And that's what, when I started setting up guitars, that's where I tried to put everything. And as I became a better guitar player, because I actually like mine just a hair less than 3/64. If I can get 2/64, I usually lean a little closer to 2/64. But when I get under 2/64, then every time I bend an E, it'll automatically sound off the B, because the action is just too low. And yes, there is a such thing as your action being too low. So I try to get it just oh my gosh, a hair below. Between 2/64 and 3/64 is where I like it best. But sometimes it's hard to get it there. So, but anything over 3/64 to me is just way too high. The action is just too high. All right, so we've got the pickups set up where I want them. That is a Roger Dodger. I've already set the height up on this. We got the neck set up pretty good right now. And like I said, after I get through replacing the trim, then I'm off to go back and do all this stuff again, because this will be the next thing to go away is the trim. So now that we've got all that done, let's do a sound test. So here we are doing the sound test, and of course, I had to come into this room in here to do it. Sorry about all the side lightings. I'm getting blown out, especially on this side over here. And because I've got the windows open over here, I got a light over here, and I have no light behind me because behind me is my pianos. And half of my PA system is stacked up behind the camera. So I could not set any lights back there, but none to worry, because all this crap is going to be moving here in a couple of months. And I don't know if you can see it or not. Don't mind the sheet. Oh, you got a sheet on it. Hang on, let me get my sheet off. I do normally keep a sheet on this at all times. I'll throw it over there. This is my Triumph Speed Triple that is also in the same room as all this gear. So therefore, no, I have no room whatsoever. I am packed in here like a freaking sardine, man. So yeah, I keep my motorcycle in the house. I just can't, I always have been riding since I was 4, since I was a little tadpole, and I always keep my motorcycles in the house. Just something I gotta do. So on that note, check this out real quick. Let me find this. That is seriously badass. So enough of that. I just had to get that out of my way. Let's move on to the sound test. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go grab a sound here. Now, like I said, I've got the Super 3 back here, and I've got a Super Distortion in the front. And chances are this is going to be a very dark pickup. But being that this guitar I do know is bass wood, I didn't want to put anything too bright in it for the obvious reason. The guitar would be very bright, and my other guitars are bright. My EVHs, I don't know if you've ever played an EVH Wolfgang and American, but they're actually kind of bright guitars, and I like kind of bright guitars. And my Ibanez's are also a little on the bright side. So I'm assuming, even though this is basswood with the Super 3, I'm assuming it's going to be a touch on the dark side. Definitely a little on the dark side. Like I said, it's not too bad. I don't really mind that too much. Let's see what this front pickup sounds like. That's the front, rear. Now the front obviously is not as hot as the rear, and that's kind of what you want. You don't want your front pickup to be hotter than your rear pickup for the obvious reason. If we take the front, we can roll that off a little bit. Then we get that good variation of when we're soloing. It's really weird for me playing a V. I'm so used to my guitars sitting on this leg. This is very odd for me to sit. I don't know what to do with my parts. So yeah, it actually, I like it. It sounds pretty good. This is the front pickup full on here. Sorry, that's the rear pickup full on. Front pickup. bends were flat. Don't hold me to that. Strings are tight. So I don't remember how this goes. Let's try that again. It's been a while since I've played this. Something like that. It's been a while since I played that, which, by the way, is absolutely a fantastic guitar solo. If you do not know that solo, I highly recommend you learn it. So let's check this out on a clean channel and see what we got here. So here's a clean channel, a little bit of chorus, because I am a dude of the 80s. So here's back pickup. Sounds like it should. Front pickup. Wow, that's really dark. I had to check the tone knob. Let's do the blend here. Not too bad, not too bad. Still a little on the dark side, so I'm going to have to set some patches up for this guitar specifically, because it is very dark. And actually it's a little darker than I had anticipated on it being. This is a little brighter channel. It's one that I actually use for our Def Leppard songs that we do. So I'm probably going to have to use it on something more like that, something that is a touch brighter. So it's very odd playing this guitar. It's just, I gotta get used to a V, man. This is gonna be tough on the front end. I'm kind of all over the place. But yeah, it definitely sounds better on that Def Leppard channel, because I do have that channel set a little brighter for the obvious reason. It is Def Leppard, and their guitars are very bright anyway. So, and also, man, it's going to be tough to adjust on this, because this guitar's got such a thicker neck than all my other guitars do. So it's going to be really weird trying to get a feel for this live. And it's painted. And I think I said it in the video when I first got this, that normally if I had a guitar like this, that I wasn't like a project guitar, I would just go ahead and sand it. But since the entire guitar is polka dotted, I don't want to sand it, because that's going to get sticky as hell as your hand starts to sweat. So that is the sound test on this particular guitar right now. Stay off my watch. On this particular guitar right now, like I said, I still got to put the tremolo system in it, and I'm probably going to change the pot sound at one point also. Now what I really want to do, I don't know if it's going to be worth the work, is this jack. As you can see here, the jack points in, straight in. I would much rather have the jack going in at an angle to match this body. I just don't know about how to do that unless I stick the jack in down here. Down here. And I don't know if I want to get into that much work, so I'm going to have to do some serious routing, because the bad thing about it, a V, is this gets in the, because this would be almost perfect to sit if this jack right here was not in the way. I'd have to tighten up my guitar strap a little more to keep it right here, but it would be almost perfect if that was not in my way. And unfortunately, that is in my way. So I don't know, that's just kind of odd for me to have to sit here and hold this. It just doesn't feel natural to me. And like I said, now I've never played a V before until now, so it is kind of an odd feeling. But I could probably get used to it in time like anything else. Let's see how it does. One more thing. Let's see how it does on this channel here. This is our Def Leppard clean, and this is normally would be a very bright channel also. Yeah. Yeah, so you can still hear it's a little on the dark side. Yeah, a little bit on the dark side. So that's okay though, because I can make the adjustments in here. So let's check one more thing before we bust this up here. Let's do a let's go just a real nasty channel and see what we come up with. I didn't like that. A little better. Sleeping around your door. Telling me you gotta have more. A little hard. It's not quite as lively as my other guitars are. So that's not an issue, but that's actually a pretty good tone on that. I kind of like that actually. Let's see what we got here. Sounds pretty good. That's the delay going on under where all the strings and stuff are during the interlude, and then here's the clean sound I have that goes on under that also. So it's a little dark. I'll actually play that on one of my Ibanez's, and it's substantially brighter. So that's just a touch dark for me. But like I said, it would still work in certain songs. You know, if I'm doing some Metallica, I can just bleed out the treble a little bit on this heavy tone, and it should probably work out pretty good. And like I said, yes, I have to learn what's that song called? Enter Sandman? Yeah, I gotta learn that. Believe it or not, metal guy, have no idea how to play Enter the Sandman. So that is the tone test on the rebuilding the Randy Rhoads. Screwing around there. I got too much stuff to do. I have cut a video from my film channel and one from my podcast. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get this on order. This will be here, hell, I don't know when. Like I said, the place that I normally order all this stuff from is
is they can't get them. So I guess there's a shortage on Floyd Roses, like there's a shortage on everything else in the damn world. So I guess there's a Floyd Rhodes shortage to beat it all. So as soon as I'm gonna get that on order, whenever that comes in, I will go ahead. That I'm probably gonna install on camera. All this stuff I didn't do because this was just tedious work. Pickups, I'll probably install it on camera and go through just a complete other setup on how to do this. And then also, if I get a chance, I do have to file this nut down. Now I've already done this on my Ibanez. God, that looks bright, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm all washed out here. I've already had to do this on my Ibanez, so and I did not video that one, but I am going to video this one because I've got to lower this nut because there's just too much room right here, and that will never be set up. I can get it set up and I can get it playable, but it's never going to be set up properly until this is done. And one thing you got to remember, when you're working on a guitar, I don't care what you do here. When I am working on a guitar, I always start right here. This is the first thing I do. Because if this is not set up correctly, it doesn't matter what you do on the rest of the guitar, it's never going to be correct. So I've got to do some work on here, and then I'll have to go through and reset everything back up again, and I'll probably video all of that stuff. So this is Rebuilding Randy Rhoads Part 3, I guess, 4? Hell, I don't know. The COVID really got me off track again. So I'm going to wrap this one up right there. I'll get this one in order. We'll be back to knock this part of it out. And then after we do that, we're going to do this at the very end of it, and that'll be the end of Rebuilding Randy Rhoads. So until the next time, like the great Sammy Hagar says, like the great Sammy Hagar says, if you miss the beat, you lose the rhythm, and nothing falls into place. And that is advice to take with you for the rest of your life and everything in your life. Until the next time, my friends, my peeps, rock on.